I have some exciting news. There is an extremely lucky Grand Water Trine between Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Starts on Wednesday, October 22nd, lasts until Sunday, November 2nd, bringing lots of forward momentum, progress, as well as inner and outer alignment. Let's take a closer look and discover what kind of gifts it will bring your sign. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in readings, teaching, creating products, and bringing my wisdom your way, as well as exchanging insights with you. I really appreciate all of the support. If you enjoy my work, please leave me a like, a comment, subscribe, press the notification bell, watch more of my content to help YouTube algorithm be friendlier. You can also say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, a croissant. Any token of appreciation I am thankful for. Before we dive in, to get a personal connection with me, to work with me, you can book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. There are natal, predictive, relationship consultations. I can also help you figure out the best date for your important event, as well as the best place in the world for you to move to. Additionally, I am a teaching astrologer. Next class begins in March 2026, and it will be dedicated to predicting with transits, solar returns, and annual perfections, helping you map out the future and create a forecast for yourself or people in your life. Join us. All of that is on my website. On there, you can also find a variety of beautiful products I create. This is my 2026 planner, the third one I have ever made. It is beautiful and it is highly useful. It has 227 pages filled with insights about astrology, breakdowns of every month, every lunation, astrological lunar signs, astrological phases. It has retrograde dates, and it includes the best dates for love, career, success, as well as more challenging dates. And I'd like to mention some of my candles. I create products that capture the positive energy of the moment. So today I'd like to highlight my Exalted Sun candle. This one highlights the sun in Aries, perfect for starting things, for initiating things, and for taking action, for being brave and courageous. Highly recommend this for anyone born with their sun in Libra or Aquarius, where the sun struggles. If your natal sun is in the 6th, 8th, or 12th houses, if it's making aspect to Saturn, especially conjunction, square, or opposition, this will be a really great choice, as well as for any entrepreneur, any visible person, any content creator. You can never have enough of the solar courage, vitality, and leadership qualities, and this candle possesses that. So today we're talking about this extremely lucky Grand Water Trine. It begins on October 22nd, 2025, and it basically lasts until November 2nd. So about 2 weeks, a little under 2 weeks. And we have a connection between Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And the Grand Trine is basically a collection of 3 trines. In astrology, trine is a harmonious aspect. It represents connection between planets that work together, that collaborate and help each other out. And so we get one trine when there are 2 planets in the signs of the same element, right? 2 water signs, for example, Scorpio and Cancer, which is Mars is in Scorpio, Jupiter is in Cancer. But then if you add the 3rd zodiac sign of the same element, then you get 2 extra trines from Scorpio to Pisces. This will be the missing piece, will be Pisces. So from Scorpio to Pisces, and then from Cancer to Pisces, and you get a perfect triangle, which is also known as the Grand Trine. In this case, it is a water Grand Trine, so it highlights the power of feeling, intuition, empathy, and nurturance. And so these are the main energies that this Grand Water Trine will represent. And the planets involved are Mercury and Mars on the side of Scorpio, Jupiter in Cancer, and Saturn in Pisces. So Mercury is a faster moving planet. So Mercury forms the Grand Water Trine between October 22nd and October 27th. And Mars forms a Grand Water Trine between October 23rd and November 2nd. But because both Mercury and Mars are aspecting Jupiter and Saturn, there's basically this exact energy, this trine energy lasting between October 22nd and November 2nd. The exact dates, though the luckiest dates, are October 24th, when Mercury trines Jupiter, October 25th, when Mercury trines Saturn, October 28th, when Mars trines Jupiter, and October 29th, when Mars trines Saturn. But you tend to feel the energy as it builds up, and then you feel it a little bit less strongly a few days after the transit. So extremely strong all the way up till October 29th, and then a little bit more goodness until November 2nd. So we have Mercury, like I said, activates that. Mercury actually conjoins Mars earlier in the month on October 20th, I believe. And Mercury conjunct Mars on the 20th of the month potentially has stimulated your mind, increased your strategic thinking, and encouraged new ideas. And so now, as we have Mercury and Mars trining Jupiter and Saturn, there is this powerful ability to start with Jupiter in Cancer, because Cancer is a cardinal sign. Out of the water signs, Cancer has to do with new beginnings. And with Jupiter being in Cancer, we are very much focused on nurturing our passion projects, on building long-lasting relationships, and on listening to our hearts, right? And initiating projects that are close to heart and that have to do with nurturance. Maybe it's your tarot deck that you've been thinking about for a while. Maybe it's your work at a pet shelter. Maybe it's your family, right? Something in your life is requiring your love, tenderness, and affection. And so Jupiter in Cancer is the starting point. And then Mars and Mercury in Scorpio provide sustainability. They provide action power, right? Like Mars being in Scorpio, it is very dignified. It loves being in Scorpio. It's considered to be in its rulership. I actually have a Mars Cazimi candle that is the similar energy, because that was Mars and Scorpio conjunct the Sun, so empowered in the perfect conjunction. Highly recommend Mars Cazimi if you're looking for that power boost, energy boost that you may seek. Exalted Sun is great for that too, but they have different qualities. Mars is a lot more about physical process of taking action and exercise and sort of committing to things. So Jupiter provides the spark of idea, the sort of, the seed gets planted in the land of Cancer, and then Mars steps in and it gives you the energy needed to get things done. And then Saturn is the final missing piece, and as Mercury and Mars trine Saturn, you have this ability to finish things, which is mutable energy of Pisces, is here to finish, transform, adapt as necessary. So 3 parts, right, of start with a feeling, continue with strategy and intense passion, and wrap it up with wisdom and spirituality. And what's nice is that Saturn is ruled by Jupiter, right? So there is kind of like a nice alignment that not only Saturn is here to help us transform, set boundaries, move into the future, but it is also responding to Jupiter in Cancer, because Pisces is traditionally a sign ruled by Jupiter. So it's pretty lovely. Some of the things you may notice is a stronger desire to compete, stronger desire to win, to succeed, to reach your goals, perseverance. It is a great time to keep going, to take the lead, to maybe even make financial moves at this time, to improve relationships and build relationships, to work on your business, sign contracts, negotiate deals and agreements. It is a really beautiful, beautiful time for that. And the trine to Saturn gives you not only there's perseverance, but there's also strength in face of challenges and adversity, and almost an opportunity to assert yourself and express the brighter, stronger side of your personality. So it's going to be really lovely, and I highly recommend you take advantage of it. The moon is also waxing at the time, and the waxing moon is perfect for unions, projects, new beginnings of all kind. If you are seeking more guidance about your chart, about your year coming up, 2026 is pretty close. Book a reading on my website. Consider joining my course to learn how to forecast for yourself. And do check out all of my creations. So let's take a look at the 12 rising signs, starting with Aries rising. For Aries, Mars in the 8th house trines Jupiter in the 4th and Saturn in the 12th. So the houses that are activated for you guys are very emotional. And so they have to do with home and family and healing. And so I can see this as a very soothing transit where you're forgiving someone in the home, connecting with someone in the family, maybe looking back and discussing what happened to you in therapy and starting to see things from a different perspective. Like there's quite strong empowerment energy here. Additionally, Saturn in the 12th may bring you gifts from like hidden alliances. Mars in the 8th can suggest positive development when it comes to finances, and Jupiter in the 4th is blessings when it comes to property and real estate. So for some, if we're not talking about like healing and more spiritual growth, this can literally be a new apartment, a new home you're moving into or buying, or opportunities to sell, or family supporting you. There's like this really good flow of what you've been nurturing nurtures you and brings you positive gifts and achievements. Share how this resonates, and if you're seeking more, if you want to study or book a reading, visit my website. For Taurus rising, Mars in the 7th house trines Jupiter in the 3rd and Saturn in the 11th. And this is a social transit for you. So the blessings will be seen in relationships, in alliances, when it comes to contracts you're signing or partnerships you're starting, right? Mars in the 7th suggests that there is strong resources right now. Like your partner is your resource, your relationship, the support of people around you is a powerful advantage you have on many levels. And then Jupiter in the 3rd wants to start a business. It wants to change your schedule. It wants to empower and teach and guide others in the social context. And then Saturn in the 11th also lifts up the level of social responsibility that you're feeling. So this could be great for starting a business. This could be great for getting involved with an organization that helps people in your community. This could be good for romantic relationships as well. Maybe even starting a business with your significant other, or signing a contract with them, or turning a friendship into a romantic relationship. One thing is for sure, your friendships, your relationships are your assets at this point. So good luck may come from siblings, from friends, from classmates, from partner. So don't hesitate to ask for help. And if you need more help, book a reading on my website. Consider joining my course and check out any other beautiful things that I offer. For the beautiful Gemini rising, this is professionally oriented and professionally abundant. We have Mars in the 6th house of work, health, and service, problem solving, trining Jupiter in the 2nd house of money and values, and trining Saturn in the 10th house of career, status, and reputation. And so Jupiter in the 2nd, as the beginning point, really wants you to build your confidence. It wants you to invest in yourself, to grow yourself, and to grow your financial account, your financial resources, but also grow your sense of confidence. And where you go for that is either by perfecting your existing career and maybe improving your chances to reach promotion or find some kind of success, right? Or with Mars in the 6th, you might also be committing to something new. You're maybe investing in a new professional path, exploring different sources of income. You may be getting rewarded if there's been a project that you've been working on and basically, investing a lot of energy into. So it's both really good for building professional projects, starting new things, or getting rewarded for the work that you've been doing for a while. I would love to hear how you feel this will play out for you. And if you're seeking more, book a reading on my website and join my course. Predictive Astrology Map of Your Future begins in March 2026. If you are a Cancer rising, Mars in the 5th house trines Jupiter in your 1st and trines Saturn in your 9th. And here we have Jupiter in the house of identity. It has been here since June 9th this year, and it wants you to grow. It invites you to explore new paths, to dream big and answer the question of who am I and who I want to be with radical honesty. It also wants you to be ready to put the work in, right? It's a big question around who am I, where am I going, what am I seeing myself as. And then Mars in the 5th house steps in and it's like, here is your creative energy. Here is your inspiration. Here is what brings you pleasure and joy. And here is my ability to commit to it. So who you are gets very much connected to parenthood, to creativity, to pleasure, and to following your dreams and goals. And then there's also the trine to Saturn in the 9th house, which brings in another element of like maybe becoming who you want to be will require studying, maybe it will require moving, maybe it will require writing a long dissertation or something. But like what you're trying to become is connected to like either guiding people through teaching or being a parent, or just kind of like reinventing your life to include more travel, more joy, more pleasure, more fun times, let's say. And it's a once in 12 years transit generally to have Jupiter in your 1st house, and now it's a lot more free to do what he wants to do. So I would really recommend that you take advantage and like go for these opportunities that involve creativity, pleasure, even romance. This could even be a chance to maybe give relationships another chance and trust that you're meant to find something new and exciting soon, right? Who knows? Don't give up on love, dear Cancer rising. Not, of course, if you have reasons to give up, it's your choice. But for more, book a reading on my website, register to join my predictive astrology course, and definitely check out my lovely 2026 planner and other creations. If you are a Leo rising, Mars in your 4th trines Jupiter in the 12th, trines Saturn in the 8th. So this is all very deeply personal. Here we're having to look at like our foundations, our blind spots when it comes to sharing, give and take dynamics, our insecurities, right? So similarly to Aries rising, that has the same houses activated. For you Leo risings, this could be a very healing time. This could be the time to lay to rest any unprocessed pain and wounds. Things that are connected to childhood, things that are connected to family, things that are connected to maybe loss and going through loss. For some of you, there is also an invitation to close old chapters and be ready for new beginnings, because next year in late June, early July, Jupiter goes into your 1st house, initiating you into important new chapter. And so with Jupiter in the 12th, there is this focus on closing chapters. There is a focus on healing. There's also a sense of spiritual orientation and maybe directing your attention towards astrology, tarot, Reiki, other kind of healing modalities, so that when Jupiter enters Leo next year, you can know what kind of teacher and guru you want to be. And what I like about this is that Mars in the 4th and Saturn in the 8th helps you to use the resources you have available. And maybe you're even closing chapters by paying off a debt. Maybe a family member steps in and there is some kind of sense of like, I am ready for new beginnings. So a lot of it's a transit of new beginnings, but because it activates all of these emotional and deeply personal houses for you guys, it could also be quite literally about endings and debts and money and family, like sort of these enmeshed, intricate, intimate topics are highlighted. If you're seeking more guidance, book a reading on my website and register for my upcoming predictive astrology course to learn how to forecast your future. If you are a Virgo rising, Mars in the 3rd house trines Jupiter in your 11th and Saturn in the 7th. So Jupiter being in Cancer, being the cardinal point, is the starting point here. And Jupiter in the 11th suggests that you're building your network. You're questioning your role in the world. You're reaching larger groups of people. Jupiter in the 11th is very happy when it's surrounded by large groups of people, and it tends to be quite lucky in that regard. So whatever the reason, right, this will be different. For some of you, maybe you're starting a new job. Maybe you're publishing your work. Maybe you're beginning a YouTube channel. For some reason, you are putting yourself out there. And then Mars in the 3rd gives you ability to persevere, gives you ability to structure your schedule in a productive way, in a constructive way, and to use your resources, your speech, your knowledge quite wisely. And then Saturn in the 7th also offers an element of problem solving and adaptability, and maybe helps you see your relationships as assets on this path that you are trying to build. So it could be quite an exciting time of powerful new beginnings. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you share what is it that you're building. For more, book a reading on my website, register for my predictive astrology course, and make sure to pick up your 2026 planner. For my lovely Libra risings, Mars in your 2nd house trines Jupiter in the 10th, trines Saturn in the 6th. This is work-oriented, work, self-worth, passion projects oriented, right? Jupiter is in your 10th. It is making you question your career. It's making you grow professionally. It's also encouraging you to start projects that require nurturance and attention, tenderness, love and care, right? TLC. And Mars in the 2nd is giving you finances. So there might be a financial reward around this time, a bonus for the work that you've been doing. A project may complete with Saturn in the 6th house, something that goes as far back as March 2023 that you've maybe been pondering and thinking about or getting ready to release might come full circle. So as we're talking about ending things, there's very much also the energy of new beginnings here. There just was a new moon in your 1st house of identity. And so this is like a really kind of powerful flow between what you desire in the professional sector, the resources you have and how you want to spend, invest them, and your work and your health. And like the question is like, what is worth your time? What is worth your energy? And also potentially what gets you excited, right? Sometimes it's good to back up and examine your interests and your passions, and then it may become more clear what is worth investing your time and energy into. If you're seeking more guidance, book a reading on my website and register for my upcoming predictive astrology course to learn how to forecast your future. If you are a Scorpio rising, Mars in your 1st house trines Jupiter in the 9th, trines Saturn in the 5th. So Mars in the 1st is very courageous. It is the time when you are driven, you're energetic, you're taking no BS from people. You're very much like, this is who I am, this is what I want. Very much a warrior, right, for some kind of important cause. Jupiter in the 9th wants you to grow. It finds wisdom in learning and working with foreign people, teaching, exploring, diving into faith, right? And then Saturn in the 5th is about pleasure, joy, and parenthood. So there may be a chance to redefine who you are through taking a course, through beginning a new relationship with someone foreign, through opening yourself up to like new perspectives. There's also like a very kind of strong physical energy here, right? Mars is in the 1st, it's your body. Saturn in the 5th is your creative energy, your creative resource, your children. So there might also be some kind of perspective shift around how you take care of yourself, how you take care of your child, what pleasure is for you. So maybe there's some adjustments in terms of your habits, or they're very much likely to be new beginnings and a sense of excitement over creative projects, maybe even pregnancy for some of you guys coming up. but it doesn't have to be. It just, pregnancy could be with a creative baby. Share how this resonates. For more, book a reading on my website and register for my predictive astrology course. It begins in March 2026. If you are a Sagittarius rising, Mars in your 12th house trines Jupiter in the 8th, trines Saturn in the 4th. So similar to other fire signs, the houses that are activated for you are these emotional, private parts of your life, right? So what is happening, the things that are happening for you might be less obvious. They might be obvious to you, but less obvious to the outside world, because 4th house is all the way at the bottom of the chart, 8th house is dark, and 12th house is dark. You can't see it from the ascendant. So Jupiter in the 8th is focused on new dynamics. There's maybe a sense of healing, releasing the past, letting go of old wounds. Or there's also a sense of forming new relationships, an intimate relationship, a business partnership, some kind of collaboration. And then Mars in the 12th really encourages you to work privately on your own, but be very much committed to whatever you're working on. And then Saturn in the 4th suggests that a chapter in your home might be ending. Maybe you're moving, maybe you are finally selling your home or something like that. Maybe, again, if we're talking about release and healing, maybe you're letting go of some expectations or some pain, some residual unresolved trauma, right? Things that haven't fully been processed. It's a really good transit for real estate and for making financial investments and for making physical moves, as well as reaching out to a therapist, talking about your past and like healing what needs to be healed. Please share how this resonates, and if you're seeking more, book a reading on my website, register for my course, Predictive Astrology, Map of Your Future, begins in March 2026, and I do recommend my lovely 2026 planner. If you are a Capricorn rising, Mars in your 11th house trines Jupiter in the 7th, trines Saturn in the 3rd. So Jupiter in the 7th is the starting piece here. Jupiter is in Cancer, which is a cardinal sign, which tends to be about new beginnings. And so here you're interested in starting partnerships, romantic partnerships, business relationships, signing contracts, beginning new agreements. Mars in the 11th suggests that you're currently coming across as very much a leader, and you have this kind of assertive and powerful quality to you. While Saturn in the 3rd offers you knowledge from the skills that you've been developing for a really long time. So it's a beautiful transit for business collaborations. It's a beautiful transit for looking for allies and introducing your passions to them and using your skills, starting a business, signing a contract, beginning a new relationship, right? Or moving a relationship to the next level, almost like bringing a marriage proposal to somebody you love and being like, hey, I thought about this. This is what I see. This is what I want. Let's do this. So quite a lot of powerful social energy, and your resources right now, your support very much comes from your friends, from your partners, from your siblings even. If you need, let's say you're starting a business and you need like a small business loan, maybe your sibling steps in and they're like, I'll help you. Or maybe they want to join you and be your business partner. Do share how this resonates. For more, book a reading on my website. Register for my Predictive Astrology course. It begins in March 2026. If you are an Aquarius rising, Mars in your 10th house trines Jupiter in the 6th, trines Saturn in the 2nd. I can see this as very financially rewarding. We have Saturn in the 2nd. It's been there for a while. It's ready to give you its bounty and final sort of rewards since March 2023. If you've noticed that finances have been tight, now things are more likely to start changing. And then Mars in the 10th suggests that you're very professionally driven, while Jupiter in the 6th encourages you to explore new passions, to dive into new interests, to make commitment to things that are difficult but are worthy of your time, right? There might be like a chance to get rewarded with your existing job and maybe explore a new job. yeah, what have you been working on since June this year when Jupiter first entered your sixth house? I can also see this as a chance to invest into something that will be professionally rewarding and generally supportive of your future. So monies might be coming your way, new job opportunities might be coming your way, and supportive people in power as well. If you do need more supportive people in power, my Exalted Sun candle is great for that, as well as Sunlight in a Jar, 2 or 3. Check out my website for that, book a reading on there, and register for my predictive astrology course. It begins in March 2026. If you are a Pisces rising, Mars in the 9th house trines Jupiter in your 5th and trines Saturn in your 1st. So Jupiter in the 5th has been here since June 9th this year. It wants you to find more joy in life. It really encourages you to create, to have fun, to make babies, to like explore things that are pleasurable. And it doesn't have to be dramatic, right? For some people, it's just being outdoors more and going swimming to a local swimming pool or playing with their child. It could be just little things. And then Mars in the 9th is offering you opportunities to get closer to it. So there's maybe a new course that you want to sign up for. There's maybe an opportunity to sort of be like a classroom parent and hang out with your kid more and take some kind of like action and maybe also reorient yourself and your beliefs. There's also potentially this interesting ideological shift that can happen with this transit, just like a sense of hopefulness and optimism and a sense that things can get better if the effort is applied, right? And Saturn in the 1st is very much a sign of effort. Saturn has been in your 1st house since March 2023, so it can also represent a completion of chapter that got started in March 2023 and maybe some potential reward. Some other manifestation that you can see here may involve pregnancy, a new relationship, like I said, a new course of study, maybe a sense of like feeling physically stronger and overcoming even some kind of adversity or challenge or difficulty. I do like this transit quite a lot, and I think you as a Jupiter child, as a Pisces rising, Pisces traditionally is ruled by Jupiter, can benefit from it potentially more than the other signs, except for Sagittarius rising. So take advantage, manifest things, especially those that involve education, travel, love, publishing, creativity. And if you're seeking more, book a reading on my website, register for my predictive astrology map of the future course. It begins in March 2026. I do recommend joining it if you already have basic knowledge of houses, planets, signs, and aspects. But if you want to join really badly and you feel like you can learn a little bit more, you can also reach out to me and I will send some recommended reading your way. So thank you for watching. I hope this video was useful and I hope you got excited about the positive energy that is coming our way at the end of October. We sure need it, so have fun and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.